brothers and sisters, and welcome to another episode where I'll be letting you know of Kickstarters launching this week. We do have a few giveaways at the end of the video, so make sure to stay tuned until then. And with that said, let's check out the Kickstarters. And the first campaign launches on the 15th, and it's called Aqua Garden, and this plays 1 to 4 players and takes about 40 to 60 minutes to play. And in this game, players are managing their own public aquarium where they're trying to make their aquarium more beautiful than everyone else's. Each round, the player who's in last gets to go first, and they get to place their worker in order to either take a fish or to place an advertisement. When you take a fish, that fish goes onto your player board where you're going to be placing it in one of 6 fish tanks. The catch is that there's a worker that will move around the aquarium, and you can only put the fish in one that's adjacent to that worker. Fish tanks do have a size limit, and mixing certain fish within a tank will have certain effects that can grant you more victory points. This game also comes with some really cute screen printed fish meeples, and the player with the most victory points at the end of the game wins. And the next campaign we have launches on the 16th, and it's called Rulebenders, and this plays 3 to 5 players and takes about 45 to 75 minutes to play. And Rulebenders is a theme traveling game where players are going to be traveling throughout the different thematic universes. These universes could be things like sci-fi, pirates, fantasy, and many others. On a player's turn, you could be playing a card, paying the cost, and performing the action, or you could be putting one of your cubes out on the board in order to alter the rules of the game. This game does incorporate area control, where players are going to be fighting to control different areas of the board, and having control of that area at the end of the round allows you to modify the rules for the game. Players will all be trying to bend the rules to their favor so that they get the most points and win the game. This game features mechanisms like area majority, card drafting, hand management, and variable setup. Also on the 16th, we have Rapture Tabletop, and this plays 2 to 4 players and takes about 60 to 120 minutes to play. And Rapture is a skirmish tabletop war game where players are going to be playing different factions and trying to defeat their opponent. Each faction has its own background, motivations, and origins, and the game features a very rich story that you're going to be uncovering throughout the game. If you like miniatures, you'll definitely want to check these ones out because they look really nice, and you'll be able to load different units such as heroes, bands, squads, or vehicles. The game does feature a morale system, and each player is going to have their own individual missions that they're trying to complete in order to win the game. And on November 17th, we have Comfort Creatures, and this plays 2 to 5 players and takes about 45 to 60 minutes to play. And in this game, players are different creatures living in the forest, and they're going to be spending their spring, summer, and fall sending out family members to gather different items to try and make their den the most comfy as possible so that they can be the most comfortable by the time that winter hits. This game features mechanisms like dice rolling, endgame bonuses, set collection, and worker placement with dice workers. Throughout the months, you'll be collecting resources from various locations, exchanging goods in the market, and getting a helping hand from traveling visitors. The player with the most comfortable den at the end of the game wins the game. And the next campaign, also launching on the 17th, is called Soldiers in Postmen's Uniforms, and this is a game for 1 player, and it takes 60 to 75 minutes to play. And this game is published by Dan Versen Games, who's published a wide array of historical and war-themed board games. And this game aims to create the historic accomplishments of the Polish postal workers by defending the post office during a day-long siege in World War II. The game plays over 3 different attack periods, the morning, afternoon, and evening. And each of these consists of 4 phases: the enemy phase, the defense phase, the clearing phase, and the escape phase. To win the game, you're going to have to last until the 3 enemy card decks are depleted while protecting postal workers and non-combatants. You're going to be scoring points based on the number of survivors, so the more survivors you have, the higher your score. Also on the 17th, we have the USS Freedom, and this plays 1 to 6 players and takes about 45 to 60 minutes to play. And this is a cooperative, open-world, free-roaming, space-themed game where players will be exploring unknown worlds, alien civilizations, and deciding who becomes their ally and who becomes their enemy. You'll be able to choose if you want to trade legal or illegal commodities, ambush other ships as space pirates, hunt dangerous monsters for fame and glory, unravel mysteries of the universe, and even save entire worlds. The game takes place over a 3-year voyage with a fully replayable campaign that consists of 36 one-hour missions. Each game session that you play is going to continue from where your last game session left off. A session consists of 5 phases, some of which will be focused more on your ship, while others will be focused on your crew. And this game is going to be my pick of the week. And the reason I'm picking this one is because it does appear to be a very interesting game, but it's also very grandiose and from a fairly new publisher that only has 1 or 2 other games out in the market. The game released in 2018 got an 8.3, which is a really nice rating on BoardGameGeek, but what really stood out to me were the comments and reviews on the BoardGameGeek ratings tab. When it comes to new publishers, I'm always a little bit skeptical when I see a very large game being released from a company that's really young. And the big issue I have with younger companies making very grandiose games is that they're usually more complicated to manufacture and they have a lot more rules that you need to worry about. And the big issue here is that they haven't had enough time in the industry to really prove themselves. But even though this company is very young, they still did a great job of putting that concern at ease for me. And it's really thanks to all the reviews and comments under the ratings tab letting me know that this game is being heavily play tested. And a lot of these comments even mention that they managed to play the game with the game designer, which really shows to me that the designer is putting in their due diligence and doing the hard work needed to make sure that this game is the best that it can be. Because this company is young, I also reviewed one of their previous campaigns that has already been shipped out, and there's been nothing but positive comments in the comments section. And a lot of these backers are commending this publisher for their quick response rate and stating how happy they are with the service that that publisher provided. A lot of these backers are even commenting on the exceptional level of service that this publisher has provided. When I see a publisher doing all these types of things, it really shows me the type of values that they have. And not only does it put my mind at ease with the concerns that I did have, but I'm also very impressed, and it even makes me happy to see this type of thing on Kickstarter. And that's why I'm making this one my pick of the week. And the next campaign, also launching on the 17th, is Hibachi, and this plays 2 to 4 players and takes about 45 minutes to play. And in this game, players are Japanese chefs using their hibachi grill to fulfill orders from their hungry customers. To do this, each round players will be throwing discs, and where those discs land are going to determine what ingredients they have available and what actions they can use. One at a time, the locations on the board are resolved, and the poker chips on that location are flipped to reveal their secret value. Players are going to have to collect the right ingredients to fulfill the proper orders, and if you complete 3 orders, you win the game. Next on the 17th, we have Knights of the Hound table, and this plays 2 to 4 players and takes about 35 to 50 minutes to play. And this is a deck building card game set in an all-dog medieval world. Players will take turn drafting hounds to their side, then they play 3 cards at a time, 1 to attack, 1 to defend, and 1 to perform their special ability. You'll gain treats for inflicting damage, and you can use those treats to buy more hounds. Last player standing wins the game. Also on the 17th, we have Mission Catastrophe, and this plays 1 to 6 players and takes about 30 to 60 minutes to play. You'll need to use the ship's modules, the resources you find, and your unique ability to try and find one of the remaining working escape pods. Fixing the ship is an option, but if you spend too much time doing that, your other crewmates might escape while you're stuck floating through space. This game features mechanisms like action points, dice rolling, a modular board, and variable setup. Also on the 17th, we have Tall Tales, a game of competitive story writing. And this is a party game for 3 to 12 players and takes about 30 to 60 minutes to play. And this is a game where players are going to be writing different parts of a story and submitting it to the group, and the players are all going to vote on which story gets put into their storyline. Players gain points when their story is selected, and the player with the most points when the entire tale is complete wins the game. Also on the 17th, we have a campaign for the death goddess Izanami miniature, which is the creation goddess and deity of the underworld from Shinto mythology. And this is going to come in a detailed kit of 42 parts that you're going to have to piece together to complete the 144mm miniature. The design of this miniature does look incredible, and I expect the detail to be just as good. So if you like painting miniatures, definitely check this one out. And I also recommend checking out the King of Averages channel because he has also covered this on several occasions. And you can also join his Facebook page and ask any questions that you want. It's a great group of people over there with a lot of great info. On November 18th, we have the game Levitation, Masters of Magic, and this plays 2 to 5 players and takes about 60 to 90 minutes to play. And Levitation is a game that focuses primarily on die drafting, worker placement, and engine building, and is set in the golden age of stage magic. Players will roll dice with magical icons, and they'll also choose a magician as their teacher. Players then draft a die and use illusion cards to build their show. You'll be traveling to different cities throughout the 19th century performing your show, and you'll get to choose how points are assigned to you and no one else. This game uses mechanisms like dice rolling, drafting, endgame bonuses, pattern building, variable player powers, and worker placement. The player with the most points at the end of the game wins the game. And that's it for campaigns, but don't leave yet because, as usual, we got a few giveaways to announce. I do these each week, and it's super simple to enter. All you have to do is leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll announce the winners next week. And the first pledge we're giving away is the Rune reprint and micro expansion. And Rune is a tile placement game for 2 players, where players will be placing down different cards that have runes on them, trying to match the colors of those runes with the ones already in play. Players will be doing this to try and match the colors of the runes to create groups, and then claim those with their workers. The different colored runes are worth different amounts of points, and the player with the most points at the end of the game wins the game. The new expansions are a collection of micro expansions, and the first one we have is the Grandmaster, which allows you to cut areas that your opponent controls or extend areas that you control. The next micro expansion is the Adepts, which allows you to play with some special abilities that you choose at the start of the game. And then there's the third Master micro expansion that allows you to play with 3 players. There's also a solo mode and a second solo mode that has been unlocked in the stretch goals. And then there's also the Dark Master expansion that introduces a new type of rune in the game that gives players a chance to place a dark rune and stop their opponents. And this giveaway is going to be for the base game, which is already available for purchase, which means that it'll be shipped out to you as soon as we draw the winner next week. And to enter this giveaway, all you have to do is leave a comment down below with the hashtag Rune, and let us know what magic user you think is the coolest. For me, I gotta say Gandalf takes the cake. I always liked how in the Hobbit book, he never really wanted to use too much of his magic. He always used as little as possible, but always was very clever in the way he used it. And then of course, in Lord of the Rings, you got to see how powerful he really was. And the next giveaway we have is for a game called The Warp, and this is a competitive 4X game for 1 to 4 players. And in this game, players will be taking command of 2 of the possible 16 alien races, each with their own unique powers and abilities. The core mechanisms incorporate area control, resource management, and engine building, and players will be forming and breaking alliances throughout the game as they try to get the most victory points. Players can gain points by completing missions, either publicly or privately, and the game ends as soon as 1 or more players achieves 9 points. And this giveaway is going to be for the basic pledge, which includes the core game and all unlocked stretch goals. And to enter this giveaway, all you have to do is leave a comment down below with the hashtag #TheWarp and let us know an alien race that you would not want to mess with. Based on your recommendations, I finally watched The Firefly, and I gotta say I'm pretty ashamed I didn't watch this sooner because it was so good. And I gotta say I would not want to run into those Reavers. I guess they're technically originally humans, but running into them would be a rough way to go. And the next giveaway we have is for Top Tail, Get to Know Your Fellow Human. And this is a family-friendly party game for 2 to 10 players where a card gets drawn with a topic on it, and all players have to give a response to that topic, and everyone votes which response was the best, and that player gets the points. The topics will be different events such as your worst traveling experience, your favorite thing to do, or what you would do if you had $1 million. This is a nice little game for people to entertain each other while sharing a little bit about themselves. This campaign also has an option to donate copies to the Child's Play charity, where these donated copies will get sent out to children across the US in the summer of 2021. There's more editions of Top Tail that will be offered in the future, and this campaign also offers a subscription that gets you a nice little certificate, as well as first edition copies of those games as soon as they're released. And this giveaway is for the Top Tail Forever pledge, which is a $250 pledge, which includes 5 copies of Top Tail, the original Volume 1, 5 unlock codes for mobile app content, 3 donated copies to the Child's Play charity, all unlocked stretch goals, and a lifetime Top Tail subscription certificate that'll get you all upcoming versions of the game as soon as they're released. And to enter this giveaway, all you have to do is leave a comment down below with the hashtag TopTail, and let me know what you would do if you had $1 million. If I had $1 million, I'd make a lot more YouTube videos, buy all the Kickstarters I missed out on their ridiculous secondhand prices, and after every board game night, I'd treat everyone to all-you-can-eat ice cream. I also wanted to mention that we're getting really close to 2,000 subscribers, and I had released in a previous video that when I reach 2,000 subscribers, I'm going to give away a pledge for a Wyrmwood table. We're only 25 subscribers away from that milestone, so there's still some time to enter the contest. I'll leave a link to the video explaining all that up here, so you can check that out. Now I'm going to draw the winners for last week's giveaways, and the first one is Trust Me, I'm a Superhero. And this is a party game where players all have different superpowers, except one player is going to be acting as a civilian who's putting out a cry for help, and the other players have to convince the civilian that they're the best suited for the job. And I use this fancy tool here to draw a winner, and all these names below are bonus entries from my Patreon subscribers. If you like the content here and you want to help make this a little bit more sustainable for me, definitely check out the Patreon. It's really the best way to support the channel. And with that said, let's grab the comments and draw a winner. And our winner is Escape Room Escapades, and they say, I would love to be able to pause time but keep moving myself without aging extra fast. And that's a great choice, and definitely one I'd be interested in because I could get a lot more YouTube videos out each week. Congratulations on the win, and just email me at adam@shelfclutter.com and we'll get that pledge all sorted out. Now let's draw the winner for Shogun no Katana, which is a competitive Euro game where players are competing to make the most beautiful swords. So let's go ahead and draw the comments. and draw a winner. And our winner is Peter Seiler. And this was actually drawn from my Patreon subscribers, so thank you for the support and congrats on the win. I'll send you a message and get that pledge all sorted out. It's really awesome that these publishers are donating pledges to the channel. I'll leave links to all the campaigns in the description below and in a pinned comment, so definitely show them some love. That's all I have for you this week, and good luck in the contests. Until next time, keep that shelf cluttered and the table full.